Welcome everyone to the first ever episode of What If Games. This is a show where we talk about all of the possibilities of our favorite franchises, express a couple ideas, see what you guys like, and just talk about the things that we want to see. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the Zelda franchise.
What's wrong with Zelda?
Everybody loves Zelda. It's been around for a long time, and they've made a lot of games. But they can always do more. And I would love to see them expand the Zelda franchise in some new and interesting ways.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear him.
All right. Number 1, new Legend of Zelda. The idea is that Nintendo takes the Zelda franchise and reboots it like they did with the Mario franchise. So, like New Super Mario Brothers.
Wow, this is, you just put new in the title and boom.
Boom.
New idea. Look at that.
No, I mean, but if you really think about it, there's a lot to be said about the overhead perspective that they used to have in the classic Zelda games. Nintendo did it with A Link Between Worlds, but this is going back to the roots, to the original Legend of Zelda, and kind of relaunching that and doing the stuff that people fell in love with in the first place.
It's a reboot of Zelda.
This goes into something else, though. Let me talk.
All right.
Okay, so the deal is, if they do new Legend of Zelda, then that opens up the door for them to do Zelda Maker. They can take the new updated palette from the original Legend of Zelda and let people make their own dungeons and make their own quests.
Oh, man, Zelda Maker.
Yeah. I mean,
Love
I
it.
want to play that so bad.
Yeah, I want to play that. If I had hands, I'd play that. I'd play the crap out of that with my hands.
Yeah, you could use your nipples to play it.
What do you think about that?
What?
Is that something you'd play?
No.
Really?
Well, I didn't play Super Mario Maker.
Oh.
I think this idea is obvious, though. Come on, hit me with something. This is what if games, not what if
Obvious?
stuff they're doing already.
What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? What if they made a Zelda movie? I think
That's
that'd
not a
actually
game.
be... Okay, fine. Here's the deal, though. What if
What
they
if
allowed...
movies?
Imagine if Nintendo worked with somebody like Insomniac, and they gave it the Ratchet and Clank treatment, where they rebooted Ratchet and Clank, made it like the movie.
My name's Ratchet. I'll just call you Clank.
So if Nintendo gave Insomniac something like The Ocarina of Time, and let them do like a spiritual successor reboot.
Like a Ratchet and Clank type platformer, or what? That's what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah. I think it'd be awesome to give other people a chance to work with it. Like, wouldn't it be rad if you saw, From Games make a Dark Souls style Zelda game? Zelda Lost Souls.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Or if Platinum Games got to do a game where you actually played as Zelda, and it was like a Zelda action game. I'd love to see their take on it. The one that I would love to see, I think if Ueda-san made a Zelda game, it'd be unbelievable. I think that's probably the most interesting that could happen, and the fact that now he's a free agent makes that a real possibility.
Yeah, all of his stuff is already so Zelda-inspired, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Got the lone hero and the princess.
But his games have a special tone. And actually, it feels like the Zelda team was inspired by some of his stuff, and he's been inspired by some of theirs, so I think it'd be a match made in heaven. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
What if Bethesda made a Zelda game?
Oh, man.
Oh,
That is good.
he's talking about that Skyrim Zelda.
Oh, man.
Triple A.
Wait, isn't Breath of the Wild already kind of like a Skyrim Zelda?
It is.
Yeah.
But it's Nintendo's first
So
crack
it's
at
done.
it. Yeah.
It's already made.
Dumb idea.
Yeah.
Next.
Come on. All right, how about this? What if we had an indie Agar.io type Zelda game? Huh? Where it was like all procedurally generated. You start the game out and you get a sword.
It's dangerous to go alone.
It's
Take
dangerous
this.
to go alone. Take this. You go outside and then boom, killed by another Link. Immediately.
A link to your past.
A link to your grave.
No, I think that'd be cool. The multiplayer component that you're talking about is interesting. That being said, I think that Zelda as a franchise is opened up to, or should be opened up, to have more characters than just Link as the hero. What if you had this thing that was called, like, The Legend of Ganon, Lost Souls? And that was the one that was made by From Software, where it's a really difficult game where you basically just play the vessel who will eventually become possessed by Demise
Yeah.
to become Ganon. And then it's like crazy boss fights, he's taking over the kingdom, wiping out people, and it'd be a totally different take. But actually, when you were talking about indies, I was just thinking, what if the crew that did Ori and the Blind Forest made a Zelda game?
Oh man,
But it was a...
that was my favorite game of the year.
Really?
Ori.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Yes, yeah, I want those guys to do a Zelda.
But
I want
the
them to
funny
do
thing is-
anything pretty much.
Yeah, like, they could do it as a Zelda, like a Zelda 2 style Metroidvania. I mean, I loved Zelda 2 for what it was, but it's one of those games where it truly does need a modern reboot. If you just took any indie studio or bigger studio and had them do a 2D Zelda Adventures of Link reboot. Actually, man, I want to see Heart Machine do a Zelda game, because I really liked...
Yeah, they made Hyper Light Drifter.
which felt very Zelda inspired with a lot of, modern conventions.
Yeah,
but-
it was very Zelda inspired.
But man, I wish they'd give them a chance. I think Nintendo, it'd be awesome if they did an outreach where they just worked with a bunch of different indie studios and had them take on new concepts.
Yeah, there's also Secret Legend. That's they're already practically making a Zelda game.
That's really cool because if you actually think about it, Link transforms into a wolf. So they could keep that game the same and
Yeah.
still work.
Well, that's actually something that could be said, is that people are making their own Zeldas. Hyper Light Drifter is practically already a Zelda, and Secret Legend is a Zelda. So why even keep the Zelda name at that point?
Well, I mean, the thing is like, I love the fact that they're doing their original things, and they have soul, and they're awesome. They've got great mechanics.
Yeah.
But, all that being said, I would still love to see other studios take on the Zelda franchise. But man, one of my favorite interpretations of the Zelda franchise, and it's official art, is the stuff that Katsuya Terada did for Zelda 2 in Nintendo Power. That was one of my favorite versions of Link, and I felt like Nintendo needed to make that game, because that was just him doing art interpretations of the stuff that was in the game, but that art is so good.
yeah.
I mean, doesn't it seem like with art styles, you either have to go all in or not at all?
Yeah, I absolutely believe that, and I think that Nintendo should embrace it. Like, do crazy original interpretations. Actually, Nintendo kind of does this internally. You can tell that they do give their artists a shot at making their own original vision for Zelda. But I'd love them to take on somebody like Terada, because his stuff looked so mature, and without being photoreal or without being
Doesn't look Super Nintendo though. It would be a vast departure from their other stuff.
I don't necessarily think so. They've done a bunch of things that have, like the Fire Emblem series that has a at times mature style than you expect from Nintendo. But yeah, man, I just want to see the Terada world realized. So I know we've covered a lot about what we'd like to see with Zelda and some unique things that that Nintendo could do. But we'd love to hear about what you guys want to see with Zelda. Which developers would you like to see take on the Zelda franchise? What original concepts do you think Nintendo could do with the Zelda games? Would you like to see a Zelda dating game? Dating simulator?
No. I don't want to see that.
Well, if you have some interesting concepts, leave them in the comments below. If you like what we did here, smash that like button,
Hit the
subscribe,
bell.
hit the bell. Let's do this, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Also, if you have any ideas for what subject matter you'd like to see us take on next, any other franchise you think would make a great What If Games, let us know below.